Speaking of coronavirus, and this is going to be a very loaded question. What's bothered you the most? The people's misconceptions and I see you. You're always battling out there. I read it like, oh man, he's in the arena. And maybe Alex and Mike might have a question or two. But what's the most that you see it and you guys can't? You get tears in your eyes. You get red faced. You want to throw your phone against the wall. What is it? What is the one line you see left and right that just drives you?
This is it's been super, super hard for me over the last couple months. That's what she said. And I just can't. I'm trying really hard because any side you take, you're immediately put into this bucket of you're either for this or against this. Yep, and people are focusing more on what you're doing, what you believe, rather than focusing on what they're doing and what they believe and what people are not focusing on their own individual health. That's the overall. That's happened all the time. We have not focused on individual health besides things that make us feel good. I'm hesitant to say things like, oh, this is just the flu, or this is a bad flu, or this is that, or, I don't want to say, because I'm not a virologist, I don't know, but I know the human body pretty well, and I know how the human body works on a day-to-day basis. I know human physiology pretty well. I've interacted with over 1,500 people. I don't want to say intimately, that sounds wrong, but I've had insight to what they do on a day-to-day basis to make themselves go from one state of health to another state of health. I've seen people go through viral infections of various degrees, and I've seen people heal. And all I can say is that I keep reminding myself is that our bodies are exceptionally intelligent and they are designed in a way to be very, very strong. And our immune systems are a lot stronger than we are giving them credit for.
Tom, can I ask a question then? Because
sure.
I've been thinking about this so much so, because even in lockdown, our physiology has pretty much changed. Because we're constantly inside. We're not moving around as much. So my thought is, as we're breaking out of all this little by little, our human physiology is going to have to adjust to being outside again, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. There's definitely a microevolution, I think, that happens when we go through little this is a trauma for all of us. A trauma is a change in an environment that's going to cause your body to react differently, and it's going to cause some sort of stress response. And traumas happen in a very, very large way, and they can be very small and happen over time. And this has gone from an acute trauma to more of a very chronic event that we're all facing. And everybody's going to be very different. Me, I've been going to work in an office every single day because I have to. That's just my job. So I'm seeing it differently than people that are having to stay home with their kids, cancel their vacations, not be able to go outside, or go outside and not know what to do. So yeah, when we come out of this, I think there's going to be all sorts of things that our body's going to have to get used to again. And a part of that is our immune system. Our immune system typically has a cycle of anywhere from 45 to 60 days to where it really needs to be affected to the point to where it becomes more susceptible to dis-ease.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So us being not exposed to what our normal environment is, that creates stress. Our immune system responds based on stress. So when we implement that stress back, our immune system is going to take a dip. So yeah, I believe that you're going to have a lot of people that are going to come out of their lockdown or their quarantine, which is really the wrong word, because a quarantine means that you isolate people that are sick. Quarantine does not mean you isolate people that are healthy. You isolate people that are sick or susceptible to sickness. So right now, we have been told that we are all sick.
Pretty much so, and that pisses me off, to be honest with you.
Right. So we have to be careful when we're coming out of this, that we're thinking about trying to really boost our immune systems, because we're going to have, what do people say when the first cold weather comes around? People say, "Oh, I'm getting sick because the weather's changed." The weather's going to change for all of us over the next 15 days.
Keith and Michael, I know that I feel like maybe we all would say it's amazing these 90-plus-year-olds are surviving this thing because of the immune system they have.
Well, and I mean, just personally, I have a handful of medical experience that's 10 years out of date from when I was in the Navy, but I think the immune system, like any other system in the body, it's going to atrophy if you don't use it.
Yep.
I'm super glad you sat in your house for the last 45 days and weren't exposed to anything. Good luck when you open that door, and welcome back to real life, because your immune system's atrophying every day. You're not putting into any work. I'm a firm believer of the only way your immune system gets stronger is by introducing it to nasty things and letting your immune system fight it off. And you don't have to intentionally go out and lick doorknobs, but being out and about. The only time I've ever put on a mask is to go to my office, because if I don't, I'm not allowed at my office.
Right.
That's the only time I've worn a mask.
Kudos to you on that, by the way.
Granted, I don't live in a household where my fiance works at a hospital, so she's already at high risk for exposure as it is. It's not like I'm me going to the supermarket isn't any more dangerous than her going to work every day. I have a healthy teenage daughter whose immune system is going to be able to fight. And I mean, she lived in Arizona up until about 3 days ago. They are, totally different over there than it is here. But you have to, as soon as she got off the plane, the first thing she goes is, "Can I take this stupid mask off?" Because American Airlines makes you wear a mask if you're on their plane.
And by the way, masking just stops our immune system from developing, doesn't it?
Well, it does. So it does. It can. I mean, the mask does keep things from coming in and out. So there's if you want to say that helps or not, that's up to you. But what's more important to know about the mask is that at times it reduces the amount of oxygen that your body is taking in, and oxygen is basically the backbone of your immune system. I mean, it's how red blood cells carry energy to your cells. When you restrict the amount of oxygen that your body is taking in, you create a stress response. And when you create a stress response, your immune system is activated. And when your immune system is overactivated, you develop autoimmune diseases. I mean, that's how type 2 diabetes came. Type 2 diabetes is a disease that is triggered by your body thinking it's always in distress. Mike talks about being exposed to, viruses and bacteria, and actually exposing your body on a cellular level to those things. That's very important. But one of the biggest things is the stress. Now think about when people go back to work, when people travel, when people go on vacation, when people are standing in line at the grocery store, they're going immediately. I mean, you guys probably think of this. What do you think of? When I go to put gas in my car, what do I instantly think of? Oh my gosh, do I want to touch that gas pump because I might get sick? When our minds constantly think this, I mean, it creates a stress. There's something out there, a very powerful thing called a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Oh, I've never been forced to not give a shit more than I do now. Than right now. You know what my new favorite game is? Favorite game in the whole world? Go to the supermarket, and when somebody's checking out, right, they have that 6 foot marked. Slowly inch. Real slow. You're never going to get a whole foot. You'll never cover a whole foot. Just slowly, like an inch or two at a time, start creeping in. And then when they notice you, see how far you can get them to move away before they have to come back and pay.
Oh, Jesus. Thank God you live in North Carolina.
So much fun. Because people are just that ridiculous.
Well, let me.
Feet are going to make a difference from 6 feet.
But let me add this, Tom. You just mentioned that causes a stress to worry about that. But these 6 foot markings, these people wearing masks, couldn't that lower someone's stress? Don't they feel maybe a false sense of security that can help out?
Yeah, I mean, sure, that could make somebody feel like, yes, a false sense of security is a great way to describe it. But while that could seem like it could relieve a stress, it's a Band-Aid. Yeah. And Band-Aids fall off if they stay on for a long time. So how long is that really going to last? I mean, we all know that, and that's something that we should know is we should always recognize what's happening around us. We should, I mean, regardless if there's a virus happening or not, we should recognize that there's that space, and you don't want to go up and kiss anybody that you don't know behind the ear at the grocery store picking out their broccoli.
Now, Alex,
close enough, you do.
Alex, you live in New York City. You're in the New York City transit system all the time. Yeah, I believe we talked the last time about your kidney. I believe, right? Like.
Yeah, and I have them. I mean, I've had bouts of pneumonia as well, and
Right.
so I've been taking it very carefully. But I refuse to stay inside. Like, I need to get out. I need to do things. I need to.
Well,
talk.
nothing's ever stopped you, Alex. Nothing's ever stopped
one,
you.
One of the first. Well, okay. So can I show you guys a picture? Hold on. So this was on Monday at the Memorial Day thing I went to for a minute, and actually someone asked me why I wasn't wearing a mask. Look, I just think this is the right way to honor them. But can you see it?
We see your hand. No,
Right,
we can't make it out. We can't make it out.
See, it looks bad on my screen. Anyway, I'm not wearing a mask. I'm not wearing a mask.
You're not wearing a mask.
Okay, I'm not wearing a mask at the monument because no one's there, and it felt right to look at it without a mask on. So I did, and my secret is that I just, until people are around, I kind of lower it so I can breathe and roll, and feel so free to do that. But here's my other issue, though, and maybe you guys could agree, is those that do wear masks because they feel like they need to should not be called sheeple. I think people are being shamed for wearing a mask too, and that's not good either. So we've got to strike a balance between, just like I said on Memorial Day, guys did not didn't quarantine themselves from storming Normandy. At the same time, they were measured in the way they attacked to defend our country. So why can't we just take their example of being measured, but also not living in fear? That's what we have to work on now as we move out of this phase of lockdown.
The reason why people live in fear is because they don't know what to do. Fear is created out of the unknown. And what's happening right now is there is a lot of information that's being pushed onto people, forced onto people because of the unknown, and they don't know. And what they don't know is what their own body needs. And Alex, you're exactly right. Some people should wear a mask. And no, nobody should be shamed for wearing a mask. Nobody should be shamed for not wearing a mask. Friday evening, I went up to our local pizza place here to pick up a pizza. I parked my car in the parking lot and walked across the parking lot, walked into the pizza place and to get my pizza. There's always a group of guys that are sitting outside this pizza place and they're smoking cigarettes, cigars, whatever. It's very charming. They've always done this. I go walking up. I don't have a mask. There's a couple guys sitting in front. They have their masks on, but the mask is pulled down below their chin. I walk in, and as soon as I walk up to the front, the guy's like, "Hey, you should have your mask on." The guy has a cigar between his fingers. And I'm like, seriously? And then he says it to me again when I walked out, and I looked at him. I said, "What's your problem?" And he's like, "You should be wearing a mask because you need to protect me." The guy has a cigar and an ashtray full of burnt out cigarettes in front of him.
People just don't get it.
How about this one? There are
people don't get it.
There are shops that are really hurting their own economy by saying, "Hey, if you don't wear a mask in our place, we're not going to give you the business." I mean, I don't know. I get where they're coming from, but also you can't deprive someone of need if they just, I don't know.
Right.
A fine line. So
well, and I think there are I mean, we could talk about the physiology behind this all night long, and I mean the physiology is a physiology. The one thing is that science does not lie. How the information we get from science is used can be full of lies. The one thing that we need to do as people, as individuals, is we need to understand our own physiology and our own science and what we need. I mean, it starts there. Once we understand that, we can make informed, educated decisions about what it is we need to do for ourselves. And once you get that, you've won. You know what you need to do. So we need to stop being reactive when it comes to our body and our health and start being much more proactive in doing the things. I don't hear anything. I watch the Today Show, unfortunately, before I leave for work, the first 40 minutes before I leave. There is never anything in the first 40 minutes of the Today Show that tells you, here's how you can make yourself healthy. Here's how you can make your immune system the strongest it can be. Here are the 12 movements that you can do that actually drives your body's immune system on a day. Here are the supplements to take.
You never hear that, right?
No, you don't. That's why people need to take a proactive approach to their health and find out what it is they need. That doesn't mean you have to follow it. As long as you know, as long as you're making informed decisions about your health, you can do whatever you want. Like I'm not a health guru. I go to Chick-fil-A. I've gone to fast food. I drink a soda once in a while, but I know what it does to me. But I also do other things too that balance it out. And that's what it is. That's what we need to do.
Ouch.
Chick-fil-A isn't healthy? Wait, what? I think it's the most overrated. We could do a whole episode on that.
We could do everything.
Okay,
overrated.
There's another thing out of this too, is that there is a much longer effect that this is going to have on people beyond this virus. Viruses viruses have been here for millions of years, probably billions. Viruses will be here for billions of more years. But there's this chunk of time that's called our lifetime that you're going to have so many people that are going to be displaced from a mental, emotional, and a physiological, just because of what's going on. I work at a bank. I've seen 63 businesses close.
60
and shut down. That's the count as of today. 63 businesses shut down completely.
God.
And I hope you don't mind me asking this on your pod, guys, but I do want to have you on my podcast now because that is what needs to be heard.
I mean, I could probably count the amount of people that has affected long term. But I also, as a bank, I also helped people work through the CARES Act and getting their paycheck protection program through the SBA, and we also lent a lot of money. We worked with the SBA to do that. So but to see people's livelihood that are perfectly healthy, that no longer come in and see me because their business is gone. I mean, just gone.
63
businesses, 63 tax identification numbers that will be filing their last tax return in 2020.
Now, I would multiply the amount of families affected by that because all the businesses had employees and people.
I mean, there's a ripple effect, and then the people that haven't gone to hospitals because they need elective surgeries. Elective doesn't mean you're getting your tits done and you're getting your ass done and you're getting your your lips.
My son.
Elective surgeries are things that you need. There are heart tests. There are stress tests. There are visits to the psychiatrist. The suicides, the child molestations that are going unreported, the domestic abuse that it's going unreported. I mean, you're not going to be able to measure. This pandemic is far worse than what we're seeing on the news.
Well, on that note,
but there is a way out of it. There is a way out of it. And that's my plan, and hopefully that's what we'll be working on going forward. But anyways, we'll see.
Hey, if you need some warm-up podcasts, you're more than welcome to join us each and every week. That's for sure.
I love what Tom was saying there.
But Alex, Tom is a great guest. Get him on your podcast. Tom is a great.
I need you now. This is unbelievable what I'm hearing from him tonight. I'm glad that we're all on this together.
Yeah.
I'm depressed.
So I have a firm belief. Though, that if Anthony Fauci was the Bulls doctor after the pizza incident, quarantine Jordan, and we wouldn't have the best shot. The shot. I'm just saying.
I think Fauci has turned the corner of being a little unfairly treated at this point. At first he was God, and now he's just a messenger, guys. There's a team behind him.
He has said that there needs to be some reopening here. He actually said something like that recently, I guess, which is good.
Wrap it up. I'm getting a wrap it up sign.
I love you guys.
I know. All right, we can go on and on about that. Guys, thanks for joining us tonight. Hopefully we can do this again. I would
Definitely.
love to do this again, we'll love it. Tom, welcome back to the podcast life and the NGU family. Hopefully you stick around.
Good to be back. What's the running over and under and how many months I last in the group this time?
Oh, you're saying months?
You should get bucks.
I got it at 2 weeks.
2 weeks. All right. Mike has 2 weeks. July 10th or June 10th.
June 10th.